say greenhouse.
Greenhouse effect. What is a greenhouse?
Traps heat.
It's something that traps heat. Anybody have a greenhouse on their property to grow stuff? You need all kinds of tricks to grow things in Bend. Bend has 2 seasons, winter and August. You need a greenhouse to cheat. Ooh, oh, remind me next time. I'll put it up in a minute. Say we have. If you look at the average last freeze of all the major cities in Oregon, Bend has one of the worst. The average last freeze date in Bend is July 15th. How do they calculate that? We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the next class. So it's very hard to grow anything in Bend, so you need greenhouses and all kinds of tricks. Pull the plants in the night, put them out there in the day when it's sunny. Greenhouse gases are one of the factors attributed to global warming. So they've been tracking CO2 concentrations at the top of Mauna Loa Observatory. And this is what has happened from 1990 to 2008. Notice, as time goes on, there's a cyclical pattern. If you had to give an average CO2 concentration in the atmosphere, you probably would be hard-pressed to go, well, it's low here, high, there's average. That ignores the pattern of what's going on, doesn't it? It looks like it actually is rising. Whether or not it's rising meaningfully is up to anybody. We can ask Al Gore, he'll tell us. But I mean, as far as pulling an average, you might want to give the average as a function of time. Do you find it's cool that it's doing this? Any reason you can think of why the average will be doing this over time?
Maybe the season.
It's exactly what it is. Each season, when the plants are dormant versus active, those are 1-year cycles. 1-year cycles, essentially. Sinusoidal cycles. When the plants are active, I'm assuming in the summer months, even though Hawaii's like always summer, the plants still have a dormant cycle versus a non-dormant cycle. When they're active, they're absorbing more CO2. When they're not active, they're not absorbing as much CO2. So the CO2 should spike a little bit in the non-active seasons and drop in the active seasons. But there is a trend upward, yes? The question is it meaningful? Well, I don't know. That starts at 350, not 0, and it goes to 380. Is 30 parts per million a meaningful increase? I don't know. I have no answer for that. I'm not a scientist. I mean, it's more. The question is it meaningfully more? Is it a crumb? Yeah. To use the analogy from before, which is fantastic. Is it a crumb? Is it a micro crumb? Mu crumb? I don't know. I don't know. Questions that need to be answered. Al Gore says yes. If you ever saw An Inconvenient Truth, that's when he got into the little thing. And he pointed, remember? You've never seen that movie. Some of you have. Yeah, that's when he got on the thing to show that it was a big spike. I mean, I don't know if it's a spike or not. That's why I say ask him. He knows more than I do about it. But this is worth trending. The trend is worth watching, for nothing else.
You should also watch the population growth of that too.
Yeah, true. Track that over the course of 1990. I could probably give that number to you. Hang on. In 1960, there were 3 billion people on Earth. It went to 6 billion at year 2000. The human race doubles in population roughly every 40 years. Roughly 40. So in 1960, 3 billion. In 2000, roughly 6 billion. We're about 7 minutes of change now. So in 1990, it would have been closer to 6 than 5. I want to guess 5.8 billion, something like that. So I don't know. Did I say that right? 3 to 6. Yeah, 5.8, 5.7. In fact, you can do logarithms and calculate that if you want to. Nobody wants to. We're going to get the hell out of here. Let's get you the hell out of here. Enough talking about logarithms. Averages, great. I got some average quizzes up for you guys for next week. I think at least 1, if not 2. I'll look again. There's a couple quizzes. I don't know if they're all. One of them's another prereq quiz. In case you want another prereq. In case this quiz up here about the counting the numbers less than 50 and all that stuff was driving you nuts, changing decimals to percentages, they put another practice quiz up for you if you want to do another one of those. I know I put a center quiz up, which is Old Faithful eruption times. Is there a third, or is that just those 2? There's another one? Another graphical display! Yes, that's right. When I pull out a Time magazine. Good, 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 good. So 3, do as many or as few as you want. Anybody do all 3 of them for today? Couple of it. Yeah, you're going to have your 10 quizzes out in no time. Awesome, awesome. You don't have to, of course. You got plenty of time. Even though we're 20% over, still got plenty of time left in the term. All right.